What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing off some of my first impressions of the first hour or so that I played of the New World preview event. I'm Excellion. Sit tight, you're not going to want to miss this. Now, for those of you who don't know, New World is Amazon Game Studios' new open world MMORPG game. It releases in spring of 2021, or at least that's when they're saying it's going to release. It has already been delayed a couple of times, and it seems they decided to push it back even more to have some final polish and content updates. But today, however, they decided to release a week and a half or so of a preview for eligible participants to play. So if you pre-ordered or if you had alpha or beta access prior, then you had a chance to getting some access to play for this preview event. From what it seems like, the entire game is going to be playable for this preview event. I almost feel like this is in an attempt to sort of gather some real user feedback on the game as a whole, which I can totally appreciate and understand, so that they can make some long-term fixes and any changes, updates that they need to make. But I'll tell you right now, I wasn't super thoroughly impressed with the game itself. I only played for about an hour or two. I just had a son and I've got fatherly duties to take care of, so my time to play was limited today. I do plan on playing some more to kind of get more involved and deeper into the game. I do feel like the game has a lot of potential, so let's just go ahead and run down the list of pros and cons. Let's break it down. So the pros, there is actually pretty decent character customization. There's a minimal but easy to use character creation tool, which has pretty good selection of character attributes. I would love to see some more, but this is actually a really good start. The game itself is very aesthetically pleasing. The user interface is very clean. Navigating the menus is super simple, despite of a couple really unconventional key presses to do certain things, like double clicking to equip something or holding S plus click to salvage an item. That seemed kind of weird. But other than that, it's a very beautiful game. It's graphically pleasing. The Lumberyard engine has, it seems, a lot of great potential built off of the Cry engine, as we know. The crafting in the game seems pretty fun and engaging, and the harvesting system as well. It seems like so there's two different ways you can level. So when you harvest, you gain experience for both your base player level, but you also get a trade skill level up at the same time. So as you start leveling up your trade skills, you can craft new things. You can execute your chopping or whatever faster. Leveling up herbalism, things like that, has a level a lot like something like World of Warcraft or other conventional MMOs, where you have skill points for trade skills and professions. That really encourages the user to sort of branch out and do more crafting and harvesting, which, in my opinion, I think is actually super important to the game itself and what the game stands for, where you're trying to build up your territory and build up your faction and your bases and settlements and things like that. I think that these are all really important aspects. So they did a really good job at that. I praise Amazon Game Studios. They have a good, solid grasp of the crafting concept, which is cool. The graphics of the game are good. They're not great. They're just good, though. Like I said, it's built off of the Lumberyard engine, which is sort of has a base of the Cry engine, which we all know is a beautiful engine, or was, and continues to be built off of even until today. I would still experience some pretty significant frame drops usually when there were a lot of players around me. But for a new IP MMO, it ran decently well. I was actually pretty surprised. And it's just a preview, so maybe this is sort of a scaled back version to sort of make it an easier to play experience for new users. So let's go on to the cons. Combat. Let's start with combat. Probably one of the first things you're going to be encountering in the game. In fact, I think it is the first thing you encounter in the game is you have experienced combat with this drowned ghoul sort of guy. Combat is pretty clunky. Now, I get they're going for a more realistic approach to combat. There's no tab targeting, anything like that. It's actually just, hit what you swing at. And I get it. But getting staggered by a ghoul when I'm about to take a swing at them is frustrating at best. I really think that they could probably improve on both the responsiveness and speed of combat. And being limited to only a few skills feels way too minimalistic for a fantasy MMO. If I want to make like a magic wizard style character and, you know, use the flame staff, things like that. I want an access to a plethora of spells. I don't want to just have a few spells or a couple spells at a time that I'm going to be using, because I feel like it's just going to get really boring to use after a long time. So now I can understand if maybe eventually you get like a really powerful staff and that staff has different abilities attached to it. That would make sense to me. But from what it seems like is each weapon is kind of slated with the same types of skills across the board, no matter what level you get them at. Again, I only played for the first couple of hours. I didn't particularly notice anything different there as far as skills. But I have watched some other videos of players who have got access to the preview event earlier on and were given high-level, max-level characters with max-level gear, and their skills and the abilities that they were using were very similar to the ones that I was using, if not the same. So combat is a huge deterrent for me, a huge turnoff. I really hope they improve upon it and make it a little bit more responsive and clean it up, and hopefully grant us access to more than just, you know, a few skills at a time while we're in combat. Leveling up feels inconsequential. You get 1 attribute point per level, which really makes little difference in the grand scheme of things. You know, I could level up max constitution and just get a lot of hit points, or I could do strength or, you know, intelligence, things like that. But 1 point for a level feels, like I said, very inconsequential. Of course, they're all going to be adding up and sort of defining your character in that way, but it almost feels like the weapon skills are the more important leveling mechanic in New World. Your weapons level up and you unlock different skills, and so this is how you get to decide what type of character you're going to play as. Now, you could be kind of like a battle mage where you stack a bunch of strength and balance out strength and intelligence, and then you have spells as well as actual skill, like skills you can use with your sword or things like that. Now that's kind of cool, but overall I would say that the fact that there are no classes in the game that you can choose from is kind of a negative. So this is just an opinion of mine, personal opinion, but I almost feel like this draws away from the RPG aspect of this game. Now, if I can create a character who can level up every weapon to max level and use whatever weapon I want whenever I want, it doesn't really set me apart as an individual player or as an individual contributor to any sort of combat. You know what I mean? I want to, like in other MMOs, I am a warrior class. I have a sword and a shield. I'm a tank. I do this. This is what I do, and I'm valuable because of that. But if I'm a warrior class and I can just switch to a healing staff or switch to a flame staff as well, and trade off in that way, it sort of negates my purpose as an individual player. So there's, again, this is a double-edged sword, because, you know, the actual skills that you use as, you know, a mixed weapon type of player. So if I want to use like a staff and a sword, or a hammer and a sword, or something like that, or a hatchet, I may be more valuable in PvP because I have a more diverse skill set and I can throw people off in that way. But from a PvE standpoint, I don't think that's a very good direction here. Another con is weight capacity. When I saw that you had weight capacity, it wasn't as huge of a deal to me initially. I am a big proponent of survival games, and a lot of survival games have weight limits. You know, Conan Exiles, 7 Days to Die, things like that have weight capacity and limits. But I don't understand why they wouldn't just do max inventory slots instead. I feel like that would have been a lot easier to do, would have actually given you more space. And I just don't understand why you have to do that. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to promote, I guess, a realism in the game. You know, you're carrying too much stone or too much lumber, you're going to be walking mega slow back to town. I get it, but overall, I would say that it's a massive limiter when you could just do inventory slots and use that instead. There are some skill points you can put in, some territory points and stuff that you can enter in to increase that capacity limit. So again, like I said, this isn't really a huge deal to me. It's just kind of an annoyance, if anything, and almost unnecessary to do for an MMO. Now, I did not get a chance to try out the PvP, but from what I've seen on other videos, it seems a little bit bland to me. You know, there's the big 50v50 PvP. There's also open world PvP you have to flag yourself for. that I did not have a chance to experience. But I encourage you guys to check out Force Gaming's overview video to see more high-level PvP action. So that's it for now. I'll be posting more videos about New World as I continue leveling and experiencing this preview. I really hope they are actively listening to user feedback to make sure that this game doesn't flop like Crucible did. It has, like I said, a lot of potential. I see a lot of good things and elements in this game that this game could just blow everything out of the water if they just adjusted and really pivoted based on user feedback. But the current state that it's in, I'm a little worried that it may not live up to a lot of users' expectations. Thank you guys for listening. I wouldn't call myself an MMO expert by any means, but these are just some elements of the game that I myself didn't quite enjoy as an avid video game player. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to comment below with whether you agree or disagree with any of these points that I made. I would love to stir up a conversation with you guys, or even have a change of heart. Until next time, take it easy. I'm out of here.